Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa, and let's talk in detail about the balance post Jeff made. But before I get into this, I just want you guys to be clear here. I think what Jeff does is absolutely phenomenal, and this level of transparency is pretty much unheard of in the entire gaming industry. We have right here the head of this game, which has over 35 million players, which has been hailed as a massive success, which is a difficult game to balance, and all kinds of stuff, giving us his personal thoughts on this game. And what do people do? Well, they just come out and attack him, and they make stupid comments, and it's so childish and immature. I mean, I can relate to this in a way, because if I make videos, people will make stupid and silly comments, and I would be lying if I said, oh, these don't have an effect on you. They do. So they will have an effect on Jeff and the rest of the team. So what you must understand is this level of transparency, we want it to continue. To get into the mind of the director of this game is amazing. It is really, really amazing to just be given that opportunity. It's ridiculous. Alright, let's get stuck into this video because we're going to go into detail. So let's just look at the very opening statement that Jeff made. I've been reading the feedback regarding the current metagame and general desire for radical balance changes to mix things up. I'll offer some of my personal perspective, but I'm a little nervous doing that for a few reasons. Even though I'm the game director and spokesperson for Overwatch, I don't make decisions in a vacuum, and I am only one part of a very awesome team. Not everyone on my team agrees with me, and we have different opinions on the state of the game and balance overall. We do have a lot of alignment, but we talk things through a lot, and we don't always agree. So I think I've cut that off. So I know this will become the official response on the subject, but I am really offering this from a very strong personal viewpoint first and foremost. I think people have just forgot that even existed in this post. It was like, oh, that he's not said that. What Jeff is saying here is fact, it's statement. He speaks for the entire team. But in fact, what he's saying is it's a democracy, right? It's not just Jeff walking around like some dictator going, yeah, do this, yeah, do that, let's do this, right, we're going to do this. They have debates, they discuss what's going on. And let's be real, right, with Overwatch, it has had a ton of balance changes. It has also had a ton of content update. Every month since this game has gone live, there has been a major update to this game. That is insane. Like, that is literally the word of this video. It is insane, right? To think of the amount of work required to do that and to make all of the updates great is ridiculous. It's just insane, right? So they're doing a great job. But please understand, this is the director of the game whose job, right? Jeff is not a programmer. Jeff doesn't like design characters, like you know, do the animation on characters, or he's not anything like that. He is the director of the game who has a vision for this game. He's like a sounding board, right? That I can imagine they all get together, they have discussions with like Jeff and other Jeff, the principal designer, you know, and they'll be saying, okay, maybe we can do this, and then all other members of the team will start chipping in. Okay, maybe we do this, and Jeff's sort of the middle of all of this, the one that ultimately, yes, probably does make the decisions, but it's not like he's going around making maniacal, like, ridiculous dictator kind of mad decisions, right? It's a team-based effort. So what we need to do now is go forward and see what Jeff has actually said, because there are things which he does say in this post which we can look at and kind of deduce some stuff from. So firstly, we're going to take a look at this. While I believe moving Roadhog away from a one-shot combo was a necessary thing we had to do, I'm not entirely satisfied with where he's at right now. I also think we need to do some brainstorming. Alright, so just remember that, and we'll go into this. That's what we're trying to do with Roadhog. Our goal wasn't a nerf. Our intent wasn't a nerf. Our intent was to try and remove a behavior that had become not okay with our player base, the one-shot combo. Maybe he needs to be adjusted again. Probably. I am just using this as an example, right? What he is saying there is, our intent was not to try and remove a behavior that had become not okay with our player base, the one-shot combo, or even to try and remove that. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that they're listening to the community, and that means what they're seeing is people moaning about being hooked and how bad it feels, right? Now, a while ago, Jeff spoke about the balanced triangle for Overwatch, which is they sort of look at the community, they look at the stats, and then they look at the feel, and they kind of like work out, you know, is it either or can we find a balance between them? I'm going to tell you right now, abilities in this game which are absolutely bullshit, right? First one is scatter arrow. It feels so bad when you get killed by that, you feel cheated. The problem is, Hanzo needs that because it's kind of Hanzo's only reliable source of damage in a way, right? And for the Hanzo player, it feels good. But for the receiver, it feels horrifically bad. Mercy's Res is another ability which is really bullshit to be on the receiving end of. You commit to a fight, you maybe pull off a triple kill, a quad kill, whatever, and then Mercy brings everybody back. It's like, oh, all she did was press a button. We all know this as players of the game, and it sends us into a rage. I put a picture, well, a little video clip on Twitter a couple of days ago where I was like, no, because I was Reaper on Anubis, we wiped them off the point, and then she just walks in and reses everyone. It doesn't feel great, and, well, it feels bullshit. Another one is D.Va's defense matrix, when it's just shoved in your face, and it doesn't feel great, you know? You're just like, oh, great, okay, so I'm not allowed to have fun now. That doesn't feel great. And, of course, the primary offender of all of this was, well, our man Roadhog and his hook combo, which he could just hook you and then kill you instantly. It's jarring because you're not even looking at Roadhog because he's flanking, obviously. He hooks you, your camera snaps around, you know you're instantly dead, he kills you instantly. So what they did was, allowed him to continue to keep hooking you like that if he wanted to, but removed his instant kill capability. Now, what that's done to Roadhog has made him useless, right? Because why would you take Roadhog? Because the reason Roadhog was being taken is because he was extremely powerful, right? As a carry hero, he could just run around and flank and work on his own killing people. That's not how Blizzard designed this hero. He's supposed to be a tank that stays with the team, that pulls people out of position into the team for the team to kill them. Not somebody who goes off on his own just killing people at will. Because of course the best thing you can do in this game is kill the enemy team. And if you have a tank who is hard to kill but can delete people on the enemy team, that's ridiculous. So then that kind of brings me to Doomfist. What the hell is Doomfist about on the PTR? If Jeff has got a problem with this, obviously other people on the team don't. Doomfist is again the same sort of situation as I wouldn't really compare it to a Roadhog hook combo because they feel okay. They didn't feel as good as, like, I don't think like a scatter arrow kill. That feels pretty good. But the best of all of them is Doomfist punch. When he punches you and instantly kills you, because it does currently 250 damage on the PTR and it's fully charged and smashes you into a wall, it feels amazing as the player. It is like the pinnacle of like, wow, this is awesome. But for the person getting punched to crap, I guess it doesn't feel too great. I wouldn't know because I've only really been playing Doomfist on the PTR. Anyway, let's move on because there's been posts on Reddit as well, so I'm going to interject some of those into this video. So this is what we got here, which is actually a kind of interesting point, which is made by Demo Kirby. Honestly, part of the nerf was his one shot would potentially ruin Doomfist. Doomfist has easy pauses and tells to hook him in and would be incredibly easy to one shot, being how huge he is, even if he has a good shield going on. I bet they did a lot of internal changes with Doomfist, but keep coming full circle that Roadhog was too effective against him, and buffing Doomfist made him too strong against everyone and only makes Roadhog hook. It's okay, like some of the English is not great in this, but whatever. What this person's saying though is, has Roadhog been nerfed before Doomfist came out because they want Doomfist to appear more powerful than he is, to make him more attractive as a hero, or to give him more space to play? Now, we've never had any confirmation on this from the developers. They've never said, oh yeah, we nerf people in advance of new heroes that are coming out, because, well, for a start, if they said that, then people wouldn't feel great, because every time there was a nerf, it would be like, oh, okay, what's the next hero going to do? You know, I've been nerfed because of this hero. It would create negative sentiment towards the next hero that came out as well. So I would never, ever, ever see them doing that. Now, we will never know, right? You can be cynical and say, yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Because it does. Roadhog is actually quite effective against Doomfist anyway right now, but he doesn't really want to be fighting him 1v1. I mean, he can kill him 1v1, right? Doomfist can't really kill Roadhog if Roadhog's got full health. But I think Doomfist has a chance to escape, right? That's the main thing here, right? And this goes back to the other heroes as well. When you get hooked by Hog now, generally you survive, so you can get away if you've got full health. Doomfist, if he got hooked, he could turn around and, you know, he could like uppercut Roadhog and jump, you know, he could get away. So it gives him more survivability. So I thought that'd be an interesting thing to just throw into this, because I'm not sure whether this is true or false, and I don't think we'll ever know, but you could be cynical. I mean, I'm British, I can be cynical as much as I like and say, yeah, they probably do that. Would I do that if I was designing the game? Probably, yeah. So what about Mercy then? This is another interesting one. So he says, when it comes to Mercy's Resurrect, for example, the ability is extremely powerful in a very unfun way for both Mercy and everyone playing against that Mercy. I don't think it's unfun for the Mercy, to be honest. I don't really agree with that. I think it's unfun for everybody else, yeah. But it's not Doomsday. These aren't game-breaking issues. They are better fixed slowly and carefully, as the overall game is not ruined by them. He's just using them as examples. So what he's saying is, right, they're going to do some brainstorming on Mercy's Resurrect. Now, like I said at the start of this video, I have an issue with Mercy's Resurrect because it doesn't feel fun. I think as an ability, it's kind of okay, you know, the fact that she can res people, and it's what makes Mercy powerful. Let's not forget this. If they removed res or did something to really destroy it, Mercy would never be used. And as we'll find out later on in this video, Mercy is like the most played hero in competitive by an absolute mile. So would they touch that hero? I don't know. So what this is saying is, yeah, Jeff wants Mercy nerfed, and does the team. He says that they need to do some brainstorming, so that would indicate that they're not actually dealing with Mercy right now. And the reason for that is because he says, well, it's not really a game-breaking issue. The game's not ruined by this, but it doesn't feel that great. But actually, we've got bigger things to worry about, so we'll come back to Mercy at a later date, which I guess is fine and fair enough. Like, I can't really argue too much with that statement. So let's continue to talk about other possible nerfs or non-nerfs. So he says, I know this post will be met with a lot of disagreement. The desire for dive comp to go away will not be satisfied from some of you until Winston and D.Va are nerfed into the ground. But we're not going to do that. We're going to make balance changes to heroes when they need it. And we do this more frequently than you give us credit for. So what he's saying here is, yeah, they are not going to nerf D.Va or Winston. And why should they nerf D.Va or Winston? Now, I honestly believe, hand over heart, something does need to happen to D.Va, right? The thing is, there are a lot of different things that can happen to D.Va to throw her out of the game. Now, before we knew about Doomfist, because I made these comments before Doomfist, I was like, look, I think something needs to happen to Defense Matrix. To give you a little bit of a history lesson about Defense Matrix, when D.Va was initially, when the game launched, D.Va's Defense Matrix, you pressed right mouse button or alternate fire, and it just casted the Defense Matrix for a set amount of time, and then it went away, and then it was on cooldown for a pretty long time. During all that period, D.Va was absolutely useless. She couldn't do anything. They knew this, right? So what they did is they gave her the ability to toggle the Defense Matrix on and off. And it's been fine-tuned up until the point we've got it right now, because when it first came out, you could endlessly keep it up, which was a bit of a bug. Now you can't, right? So you have to be, you have to pick and choose. And I think it lasts for 4 seconds when fully used. It's a great ability, right? I think it's a core ability to D.Va. It's what makes D.Va D.Va. So you can't just remove it, but you probably need to look at it in some other ways. But that's me thinking on a very simplistic level. That's me not really taking into account other heroes that are going to come out into the game. Because obviously, I don't know what these heroes are. Blizzard do, but Blizzard can't say to us, oh guys, don't worry about D.Va because we've got Doomfist who, well, can beat the crap out of D.Va. And because Doomfist is going to smash D.Va, that then means we're probably going to see a bit more Zarya coming back into the game. And there'll be these all these other knock-on effects. We're going to see more Pharah as well, which I think is going to be a huge negative, I do. Because Pharah's quite dominant in the game anyway, and D.Va controls Pharah. So if you put Doomfist in the mix and he smashes D.Va, well, that's crazy. And also Pharah's strong against Doomfist. It's a bit ridiculous. So I didn't know that. So I can understand why Jeff would not want to change D.Va right now, because other factors are going to cause her to fall out of the game. And the last thing they want to do is nerf a hero to the point of people getting really angry, because people main heroes in this game, and if you nerf them, they become very offended, and then they take it personally, and God forbid, probably won't play the game. We've also got another post here off Reddit. Now, this says the D.Va example was a really important thing people need to understand. Look at Tracer. She's basically never been touched since launch, yet she ebbs and flows between super strong and underpowered as the meta shifts all the time. Sometimes community perception and subconscious community-wide discussions about meta influence gameplay far more than nerfs or buffs do. So this is actually a pretty good post from OKTJ. And what he's saying is, yeah, look at Tracer. You could argue that Tracer is the hero that the game is built around. She's not. I don't think she's not. I mean, you could have argued Reinhardt was this hero. And then when you look at things like Horizon Lunar Colony, that map is not a Reinhardt map at all. There's not really any chokes where you can just walk through, especially not on the first point. It's so open, it kind of makes Reinhardt useless. But if you look at Tracer, she's never been changed. She's highly mobile, she does very close range burst damage, and she's got a lot of survivability. But when there was certain metas in the game, Tracer wasn't that effective. When you look at, you look at Genji as well. Look at the triple tank meta that we had. Genji was terrible in that because he couldn't really do anything to the tanks. He could tickle them, get his Dragon Blade out, and then tickle them a bit more. They didn't care. They're like, whatever, Genji, get out of my face. So things like that do happen, and that is when the game is at its best, when things are just dynamic and things are changing all of the time. So, look at this then. The majority of Overwatch players play quick play. Fact. In quick play, the top 6 picked heroes, so basically the meta, is Genji, 76, Hanzo, McCree, Mercy, and Junkrat. That's it. Now, to me, this was not really that shocking, I don't think, because it's quick play. Quick play is where you go to have fun. It's where you go to play Overwatch and do whatever you like, really. You can play any hero, and there shouldn't really be any moans off your team. You shouldn't really feel bad for maybe picking a off-meta hero or whatever. You're just going in to play what is essentially pure Overwatch, you know. You're just having fun. It's fine. That's not to say quick play is not balanced, because quick play still has to be balanced. You know, you couldn't have like a ridiculously overpowered hero, because then he would be picked in, or she would be picked in quick play and just decimate the game. So I don't think we've got that, and I think, you know, that as a statement is fine. Was I shocked that quick play was the most played mode? Kind of, and then kind of not. I don't know. It was very interesting. But then we look at posts like this, right? And this is what really annoys me. This is on the official forums from a user called Quavo, and he quotes Jeff saying, "The point I am trying to make by posting quick play is that the numbers show that this is where the majority of players are actually experienced, which is different from perceiving," right? And then this guy just says, "Built for esports, balanced for bronze. Thanks for being clear about that." I don't think this guy exactly understands what's going on, and this is a very poor attitude to have, because Jeff is not saying, yeah, oh yeah, Overwatch is built for esports, but we're going to balance it for bronze. I don't think this guy's actually watched what goes on in the esports scene. I don't think he's been aware of dive comp, which has been prevalent for months and months and months in the pro scene, which revolves around the highest skill cap heroes in the game. I don't think you could get a bronze level team to execute dive comp. In fact, Mr. Quavo, you can't really get a GM team to execute dive comp properly. I play at GM. Where do you play? You know, things like this really friggin' annoy me, and I don't like it. These people need to grow up, and it's comments like this which Jeff could see, and it could cause him to think, you know what, I'm not going to post on the forums anymore, because he doesn't have to. It's so annoying. I hate things like that. So let's go on to competitive, right? Competitive only. Here are the top 6 picked heroes. Mercy, by a long shot. I'm not surprised, right? I'm really not surprised about that. 76, D.Va, not surprised. Lucio, not surprised. Ana and Genji, right? Interestingly, there's no tanks there, but anyway, he says, interestingly, number 7 is Reinhardt. Next tank after that is Winston, no Roadhog. So he's saying it's not actually Winston, it's actually Roadhog. So in the past month in comp, that's what you've been actually playing. So when people think, oh yeah, dive comp, dive this, dive that, it's actually a load of crap. You know, when you go into competitive, I can play in comp games, and I might say, yeah, Reinhardt, I don't think he's got as much use as a Winston, and I don't think he has, but you can still win a game with a Reinhardt. It's not like you've lost the match. It's crazy that people think like that. You know, you can say Reinhardt is dead, and he is, in a certain sense, at a certain level, in a certain comp, on certain maps, and the same applies to literally every single hero. The only time this gets distilled down to complete fact is when you're looking at the pro level games. If a Reinhardt is taken out against a dive comp, he's just going to get annihilated. But that is a pro level, I'm smashing my deck, that is a pro level game, right? And this is what really frustrates me to no end. So then he says, but let's talk about the elite players, maybe the top third of all MMR. Their top picked hero over the past month was Ana. Ana's not part of the dive comp. She's not actually the most, like, when you look at the most picked heroes in competitive, Jeff said Mercy, right? And all those guys are listed off. That's for all of competitive. But when you look at the top end, the elite end of competitive, Ana is the most picked hero. What does that tell you, right? I probably would have said, oh, it's Mercy, because I see Mercy all the time. But no, it's Ana. Jeff has the stats. I'd love to see the stats. I don't think we ever will, but it's nice that he actually gives us these bits of information every now and again. Right then, let's carry on. I prefer to think that Overwatch allows you to be creative, which is different than forces you to be creative. I don't want to watch the best Genji player in the world play Zarya. I want to see him or her play Genji. Also seeing how many of you main heroes because you love them. I don't want the game or your opponent telling you you're not. I keep slamming this desk. I'm getting so like that. Telling you you're not allowed to play that hero. And the reason why I'm slamming the desk is because I agree with what he's saying, right? What he's saying here is, look, people main heroes in this game. You can't give somebody the ability to say, no, you can't play Genji, because that then takes away their fun. Remember, this is a game. You must have fun. It isn't just like a straight up, let's test how good you are in an FPS game that's also happens to be a team shooter. It's not that. It's a fun game. You can't be restrictive like that, and I agree with that. That's why like pick and ban systems I don't think will ever work in Overwatch. Some cases they might. I mean, like Jeff does actually say about the 6v6 elimination, that kind of is a pick and ban system. It's almost like a self-forced pick and ban, where if you win with one hero, you can't use that hero again, which I think is kind of a fun way to do it, because it takes the control out of the enemy player's hands, because you don't want people telling you how to have fun. That's not great. And this is why we have a lot of issues with Overwatch, where somebody, for some insane reason, might think that Torbjorn is the best character ever, and they just play him for 500 hours. And when you get that Torbjorn in your competitive game, you're like, mate, we're on attack. Can you play somebody else? And he's like, no, I like Torbjorn. And it's fair. It's a fair point to make. Yeah, he likes Torbjorn. But the rest of the team are like, oh my god. And then it creates loads of negativity, creates toxicity, and you're always going to get that in competitive games. So, what he's saying is, he wants Overwatch to allow you to be creative, right? Now, I've got a bit of an issue with this, because while I said I agree with this comment, I do agree with most of it, but when you look at the way Overwatch is played, and I don't think we can really, you can't really argue with me right now, right? This is the way Overwatch is played. You group together, you walk towards a conflict point, and then you have a team fight. What goes on in this team fight is we need to try and kill the enemy before they kill us. If we get a quick pick, so we kill somebody fast, our team has a major advantage. If we kill them, then we roll through and we carry on, right? That's how Overwatch is played. What this means is we don't really have really set in stone counters. It's not like, oh, they've got a Reinhardt, we absolutely have to take this hero, let's say, I don't know, like a Doomfist, to counter the Reinhardt. If we don't, we won't get through that Reinhardt. That's not true. That's a false statement, because you can get past the Reinhardt. There are only a few examples in my head. It's things like, oh, the enemy have got a Tracer, we need a McCree to counter the Tracer. That's not actually true. You could counter the Tracer in a lot of other ways. You could carry on playing Soldier 76 and just up your accuracy game and maybe catch her with some Helix rockets, and you could counter her. That's the thing with Overwatch. So when like hero, being creative with hero picks and team comps comes into the mix, you don't really change that much with Overwatch. And maybe that's a failing of the game, because I know when the game first came out, it was all about, oh yeah, you can change a hero, like play 3 or 4 different heroes every game. And there are things in the game that kind of, well, are not conducive to that. So you lose your ultimate charge when you swap hero. So why the hell would you swap hero? You know, if I'm playing, and you see people do this a lot, if I'm playing a hero which is being countered, but I've actually almost got I don't know, Farah's barrage ready, maybe I can use my barrage, so I'll carry on trying with the Farah. Oh no, I keep dying and I'm feeding the enemy team. I should swap, you know. And like I said, there are only certain situations where there is like an absolute hard counter. If you're playing a Farah and the enemy team have a McCree and a Soldier, Farah's probably not going to work, because she's going to get drilled out of the sky, right? If those players can aim, or if they've got a Widow with good aim. So sometimes there are little like sort of hard counters, but you don't really change that much. I mean, in fact, I challenge you guys in the comments below, how many to tell me how many times you actually change your hero during a game. I don't think it's that often. Maybe I change once, if that. Most of the time I just play the same hero for the entire, well, level. So Jeff goes on to say and talk about how dive comp is the most prevalent composition in the highest pro level of the game, but only at the pro level. And we've got another pretty good post here off Reddit from the user I can't read off that user. You can read it, right, guys? I don't think the issue is dive comps or triple tank comps. I think the issue is that the best counter to a dive comp is your own dive comp, and the best counter to a triple tank is your own triple tank. Okay. It's not the best counter, it's the easiest counter, right? And again, I think what this user is saying is skewed by watching pro level games. When you play on the ladder, at any level on the ladder, if you have you know, the same team as the enemy team, it comes down to who can play those heroes better, right? But sometimes, or actually more often than not, you won't have the same team. The team comps will be slightly different. There'll be other heroes thrown in there, and you might win, you might lose, it's fine. At the pro level, the pros, what they do is they dedicate their time to training in one particular way. You can't expect them to be absolutely amazing at every kind of playstyle. So right now, we've got teams that are very highly specialised in dive. You've got Rogue, who are the best dive team in the world. You've got E United, pretty, you know, a close second or third. You've got Kongdu Panthera, close second or third. You've got Lunatic High, close second or third. These are all dive comp teams. They've played dive for ages and ages and ages. When they come against each other, they don't think, oh, you know, let's do something cute, let's bring out a hero that might screw them up. They just go, let's play dive and let's try and beat them in pure skill. They're pro gamers. That's what they do. They should have high skill. They should be able to do that. The thing is, right, on the ladder, you can actually make a cute change. I cannot tell you how many times I have held the first point on King's Row with May. just walling people off as they come through. You think this is surely not going to work. They're going to just get round me. If this was a pro game, it wouldn't work because they'd use dive comp. They'd all dive in at the same time. The wall wouldn't wall anybody off and it'd just trap them in there with us and they'd kill us, right? But on ladder, it can totally work because that level of coordination isn't there. I could go on and on and on. There are tons and tons of examples, but what I'm going to do is end this video at this. This post off Jeff, I am in no doubt will be used as a basis for a ton of videos and loads of channels all over YouTube and loads of opinion pieces and loads of stuff. But the fact remains, we have been given a look inside Jeff's mind, and he's great for doing this, and the level of detail in this post is crazy. And the fact, you can clearly see he's sat down for a long time and wrote this. It doesn't look like it's something he's just bashed out, because I don't think there's any sort of spelling mistakes or errors like that. It's you can see he's been working on it for a while, I think. We need to be thankful for what he does for this game, right? It's just a game, right? So we can kind of get a bit caught up in this and be like, oh, you know, there are other things in the world which, you know, probably require more of our attention. But understand this. The fact that Jeff, the head of this, like, billion-dollar franchise game, comes out and says to us, that the poor scrubs who play this game, guys, this is what I think, right? Shows to me that this man plays this game and he has a passion for this game. And of course they've got a passion. The entire team have a passion for this game. It has been their project for years and years and years, and it's a major success. He doesn't have to do anything. He could just go away and do whatever the hell he likes. He doesn't have to post on the forums. He doesn't have to take part in, like, you know, I think he was on Chanman Streamer Showdown and all kinds of stuff. I'd love to get Jeff on my channel just to talk to him about the game. Insane. Guys, I am Stylosa and this is Unit Lost. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. I'm going to leave it at that. I'll catch you next time, guys. Toodaloo.